Welcome to the news review belt of the AM show. Thank you for staying with us. Mama V, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Last day of the month, April. Tomorrow we enter into May. And I still can't believe that. Like, we've done January, February, March, April.
Why can't you believe it, though? Is it going too fast?
It's going...
Too quickly?
Well, maybe not. I mean, I'm just realizing that we're well into 2021, I guess. Yeah.
This year, January went pretty fast compared to others.
Did it when you were in January?
Yeah. I mean, it said that there are 3 months in January, but this time it appeared to be 2.5, not exactly 3. But here we are. We thank God for the gift of life. Yep. Sometimes life is like that. You have the ups and downs, but you breeze through all of it and you thank God for it. Yeah. So we thank God for another opportunity.
God has been good. God has absolutely been good.
Yeah.
Still can't believe that we've ended April. We're ending April today. So yeah, we give him thanks. I don't know how it's been for you watching us. It hasn't been smooth for all of us, you know. But in all things, we give thanks to him. Because no matter your situation, you are way better off than some other person.
You know, so many things happen, and we come here and sit here. And all is well. All is well.
See, ours is just the typical Ghanaian story, and it's the African story, if you like. We all go through our hustles every day. I mean, every day is a hustle. But the fact that we have life, and the fact that, you know, we are well and up. That's the inspiration, really. So we hope that, you know, you can go out there. Yesterday wasn't better. Today's another day. We live to fight.
We live to fight.
Yeah, we live to fight. It is well.
Well, before we dig into the papers, quite a collection here. But, Mama V, those songs of yesteryear, the oldies but goodies. Which ones did you grow up on? Which ones did you listen to? Was it the
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
So on a morning like this, I just remember that in the 90s, you know, at a point in time, late 90s, Lord Kenya and Dasebre Jamina.
Yeah.
Remember that track?
Yeah.
It was just a bomb at the time. Well, not a bomb in a negative way, but it blew up. We're all singing it. Then Kenya goes through his own albums, always talking about money. And then at a point, Ejako Onimo says, I'm referring to Lord Kenya, not Ejako Onimo himself, says, oh, now he's a preacher man and all of that. We shouldn't even play his songs. And
lots of controversies there.
Interesting times.
But I think that, you know, you talk about Lord Kenya and you've got to respect that man.
Oh, yeah.
We've had people go and come, but he has remained.
You have to, if you're considering Obrafo, you have to place him together with Lord Kenya on the same pedestal, because back then they were like the biggest artists. Until now, I mean, the two of them, if you look at that era till now, they stand out. Of course, now we have new ones who have come through, the Sarkodie's, the T-Flows, the Strongmans, the Medicals, on that plane. Oh, I can't forget Manifest as well.
I also, you know, quite remember Oforia Ponsa, and I think Samini Oforia Ponsa, you know, the whole Kokoveli. Like, there are some squad that kind of also stick when I'm thinking about...
And the transitions.
Late 90s and 20s, 2000s, because some of us, that's our era, really. Yeah.
But the transitions as well, Batman to Samini.
Oh, yeah.
And then Bandana to Shakalawali.
Yeah. There's been some rebranding. We're reliving. It's a Friday, and we want you to come along with us. So when we get to that spot, I think you're more into it. Do you remember? Because
even VIP to VVIP.
Did you do disco and clubbing and stuff like that?
I listened to the music. I actually grew up on some of that music.
Okay.
So Prince, Michael Jackson. Oh wait, you never like. You didn't? You just lost that on that era?
Of course I did.
Exquisite, Papa.
Is it the Ghanaian or it is the foreign ones that, you know, does it for you? You know, when we're talking about like throwbacks, a lot of people kind of tend to remember, or we flow with the foreign oldies, not necessarily the Ghanaian
oldies as well. Definitely. I mean, the other day when we were playing Aquaba featuring his father, so the Afa boys. I mean, his songs as well. You hear them and immediately it resonates with you. Osibisa songs till today. I mean, they're selling out there.
I think those were kind of like mid-tempo tunes. So if you really wanted to dance, then you're probably dancing with some Tupac or, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's it.
Well, listen, we'll have a lot of fun later on here on the show. But for now, let's look at what's making the headlines in our newspapers, Ben.
Well, I have the Daily Guide, Republic, BNFT, Ghanaian Publisher, and the Meridian. What do you have?
The Ghanaian Times, the Daily Dispatch, the Finder, I see the Statesman, and also the Custodian newspaper.
All right, I'll start with the Daily Guide this morning. It says Goil goes into asphalt production. That's on page 9. Quite a development there. Then fire raging on lottery front. That's on page 6. A lot going on in that sector. Then this one, Sotuom drama. Agrada sets Sikagari on fire. And some have been posting Reverend Agrada, she says she's converted. You can see her in the shot actually,
that's the
pictured
problem,
with the
isn't it?
Bible.
If somebody carried him or herself as a doctor or a lawyer,
would that make him or her?
We will put that person to the test. We'll probably be prosecuting the person for carrying him or herself, as a person. Meanwhile, the person is not qualified. But there you have it. You can go around today and say that you are this, and tomorrow you are an evangelist, and everybody will call you. That's how far we have come. That's the society that we live in.
Religion is, unless someone is infringing on your rights to adhere to some particular belief, with these ones, they will tell you that you really can't determine that's what they tell you. That's what they say.
Okay.
But of course, the Bible also says, by their fruits you shall know them. So.
Yeah, but I think that's not enough. I mean, for our society, it's not. Because a person would carry themselves like that and be deceiving people and be counseling people. And so you need to be properly qualified, so-called.
Right.
Yeah, it has to be a fair kind of system here. If you can't carry yourself, I can't wake up and say, I'm a doctor today. Ben, I cannot. I cannot go and sit in some room and say it's a consulting room so people should come and consult. But I can wake up and say that I'm a bishop or I'm an evangelist and people can come to me for counseling. Yeah, we need to check that.
Well, Sikagari on fire. Court puts injunction on Stanbic Bank AGM. Find out why on page 3. Fast-track recycling plants. That's according to some members of parliament. But when you check out the middle spread of the paper, Ikuapem Polo is calling out DKB over 4,000 Ghana cedi donation. And this, again, has come to the fore. She's saying some of that money she did not get, and this and that. But I think at some point we have to let this matter die a natural death. Kwame MP buries late father. And rapper Idris Abdul Karim takes on Nigeria's Labour Ministry. He's taking on this Labour Minister, I should say. It reminds me of back then when, what was his name? Remember that song that was banned? Nigeria, Jaga, Jaga, everything's good. No, I just remember because of that.
You don't look it, You don't look it, but the kind of things you listen to and watch.
Hey, I beg you. Hey. Where you are going there. Man. But that song and the furore it raised at the time.
What did you say?
By their fruits you shall know them. Oh, so because of the music I listened to. But I'm surprised. Wait, you know the song, right? You know the song, right? On the back page, rugby players rubbish grouper petition. Daily Guide. You can't say rugby players rubbishes. That's. I'm sorry, but that's not proper English. It's plural. So, rugby players rubbish grouper petition, and that has to do with a Ghana Rugby Union Players Association, and they've been calling for the head, I should say, of Herbert Mensah. Barca need cash for Messi contract, and that's it with the Daily Guide.
All right, let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper, and on the front page, be aggressive in multimedia space. Minister advises New Times cooperation. Bafo Seyakoto must be honored. MPs raise red flag over water quality around landfill sites. We dissociate ourselves from calls to abrogate KGL NLA agreement. Who says that? Details in the paper. So clamp down on crime in Kasoa. 340 suspect in police grip. If you go to page 3, 2 boys drowned in an irrigation dam at the Ashaman Agric area in the Greater Accra region last Wednesday when they went there to swim, according to an eyewitness who is a mechanic. He was resting at his shop when he heard some people screaming from the dam nearby, so he rushed there. He said when he went to the dam, people there informed him that 2 boys, identified as Daniel Mante, 13, and Amish Mante, 11, had drowned. The boys had gone there with 3 others to cut weeds to feed rabbits, but decided to swim in the dam. And then, of course, this was in our news. The police yesterday rounded up 340 suspected criminals, including 5 females, in a dawn swoop at Kasoa and its environs in the Ewutu-Senya municipality of the Central Region. 4 persons who attacked and robbed a taxi driver of his vehicle, mobile phone, and 630 Ghana cedis have been remanded by the Accra Circuit Court. Their names have been given. In court, one of them who dishonestly received the stolen vehicle and sold it for 5,000 Ghana cedis. So that person, Francis Addy, was also in court. More about how things turned out in court on page 3 in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. On the back page, the sword was on Thursday cats at Abrabra in the Sefiri municipality of the Western North region for the construction of 10 mechanized solar water systems for rural cocoa growing communities at the cost of $150,000. Details of that here. And government is to expand the Pung barrier to mutual stretch on the Accra-Aflao Road into a 6-lane route. The projects include the construction of 4 interchange points at the TT Brothers Junction, the Pung barrier, Dowenya to Afienya Junction, and the Pram Pram Junction. The rest of that story is on the back page of the Ghanaian Times.
Let's go to the Ghanaian Publisher now, and it says, coming up, scandal at Bost. Then there's also this one, Opuni files for no case. I'll just bring you a bit of that story. Lawyers for former Chief Executive Officer of Kokobo, Dr. Stephen Kwabena Opuni, have filed a submission of no case in the trial where he and 2 others have been accused of causing financial loss to the state. According to the defense lawyers, the state has failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt that their client committed the offense for which reason he has been charged. The submission of no case, which was filed on April 12, 2021, follows the rejection of an oral one that was by Justice Clemens Jackson Honyanuga, a Supreme Court judge sitting with additional responsibilities as a High Court judge, who asked the defense team to come officially by filing their applications before the court. Of course, this Opuni and Agogo case has been in court for a while. And, Opuni is filing for a no case. Nilante to waste collectors, cover refuse on your way to disposal sites. And do we even need to be told this? Is it not very basic? But it appears it's something that those members of parliament have been meeting on and have been speaking about, and that is Nilante's own contribution. No intention to privatize GBC. Opon Kroma, the information minister, he's been interacting with staff of the company, and he's told them to ignore the suspicion that GBC is going to be privatized. And he clearly defines the corporation's identity to remain relevant in the contemporary media landscape. I want to take a bit of a swipe at this one. Don't go to high-risk COVID countries. That's government to Ghanaians. That's also on page 2.
So that's the latest travel alert.
Yes. And it says, the Ministry for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration has warned Ghanaians who intend to travel to countries with exceedingly high COVID-19 infection rates to postpone or cancel their trip. This, according to the ministry, is in view of the alarming rate of COVID-19 cases in some parts of the world, including Asia and South America. And of course, it's in that statement which stipulates guidelines for essential travel to any of these countries. So a bit of a warning there that we all should take stock of. Police arrest over 300 I'll just leave it as people in Kasoa without mentioning the nationality. I don't think it's relevant in this case to mention the nationality. And that's it with the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper.
Let's do the Finder. Front page, Ghana records 89% drop in malaria-related deaths in 8 years, but infections remain high. Also, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly removes illegal structures and containers at Rawlins Park. I see the assemblies carrying out similar projects in my municipality, the Gan West Municipal Assembly. I know that they're also pulling down structures in waterways. More than 100,000. Now, this is the one that is heartbreaking. 109,888 teenage pregnancies recorded in 2020. 2,865 are between 10 and 14 years old. And the Ashanti region takes a lead in this one. They have a record of 17,802 of those teenage pregnancies, followed by the Eastern region. The Central region follows in that order: Northern Greater Accra, Western Upper East, Volta, Bono East, Bono, Oti, Northeast, Western North, Upper West, Savannah. And we know the effects of teenage pregnancy on the mother itself, a teenage mother taking care of a baby. They don't know any better. How can they take care of another baby, give life to another person and teach them? And then, of course, the effects on the child, on the society as well. And this is incredibly high, 109,888. The Kasoa arrest is also featured on page 2. And then, yeah, there's a group that's congratulating John Kuma, Deputy Finance Minister designate. I thought that they would hold on. He has to go through vetting and approval, and then they continually congratulate. But this is also not wrong, I guess. All right, really pretty much the other headlines we're familiar with. The Information Minister touring and making some comments, particularly this one directed at print media.
Let's check out Republic Press, and there's a portion that I'll have you read when I get to that. Mama V.
Why?
Abwaje, for very good reason. For very good reason. This one says, no politician involved in Galamsey will be spared. That's according to the Lands Minister. No politician, Mama V. None of them will be spared. That's according to Samuel Abujinapo. Police officers, 3 others remanded.
Is that a soundbite, so that's...
Soundbite, I think.
It's a question.
The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources says no minister will be spared. What's the minister saying?
Okay.
What will be your matter?
Oh, no, I don't have any matter. I guess, like many other people, we want to see that. Then we can believe the words.
Yeah, lands, no. Police officers, 3 others remanded over secret burial of farmer at Sekwa. And Berima Sapong, Alan Chamanting is competent. Dr. Baumia is not a disaster. NPP has the men. That's what he has been saying. The story about 300 people grabbed in Kasoa and 250 laptops seized, I shall bring back. It's also here in Republic Press. I'm intentionally not mentioning the nationality because I think sometimes the stereotyping, 300 people have been grabbed. It's okay to mention that. Martin Amidu begins shadow boxing, fights hard to implicate Kisi Ajabing. That's on page 4 of the newspaper. We started discoursing on this yesterday, and it talks about how in his latest epistle, Mr. Amidu said he was interested in how legal practitioner and chairman of the Electronic Communications Tribunal, Kisi Ajabing, would independently and impartially handle some corruption cases when he is approved by President Akufo-Addo and Parliament to head his old office. This, according to him, is because of the relationship between the nominee and the individuals or institutions involved in suspected corrupt acts. If you want more details, go to page 4 of that newspaper. Energy Ministry fires back at minority, and they've been responding to what the minority has been saying, or some of that. Now, let me get to this bit here. Champions League, Real Madrid's Marcelo, I should say, could miss Chelsea trip because of election duties. And he has been called up to monitor a polling station during local elections. And guess what? That could mean he could miss the semi-final, the second leg of the semi-final. But finally, this is what I wanted you to read out. Confessions. Yes, please go ahead. Read out the headline.
Oh, that's you reviewing the paper. Why are you giving it me to do? I won't do that. I've got my own papers.
So guys review weirdest places they have had intercourse. Yes. And,
there's confessions there. Would you want to?
Yes, it says confessions. So some people.
After it says guys. So yeah. Let's hear yours.
I am not in the mix here.
But it says confessions.
I have no confession.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yes.
All right.
But some people talk about movie halls, office, under a waterfall.
Under a what?
Under a waterfall.
Okay, that's
in the parking lot.
In the parking lot.
Okay, now this is weird. It says at a friend's wedding.
Where? At the wedding grounds or what?
The wedding took place in a garden. I spotted one of the bridesmaids.
Oh, gosh.
And we had a long conversation.
Oh, gosh.
Over 2 bottles of wine and some shots of whiskey. Okay.
Is the water whatever? That's quite adventurous.
Something you'd like to try out?
Definitely. Doesn't sound bad. It's adventurous.
You heard it here. Mama Vio Usuabaji would like to.
Hey.
Under a waterfall. Okay. If somebody is listening,
don't get naughty on the show,
hotel's balcony is also in there in the washroom as well. It's interesting.
Don't get naughty.
Interesting. Do they dispatch now?
Hey, Ben. All right, let's look at the Daily Dispatch newspaper on the front page. Muhammad needed pink sheets to support his case, not spreadsheets. And that's according to a Supreme Court judge. I will come to a bit of the details, but there are some 4 MPs. They're actually on the Select Committee on Local Governments. They're calling on the NCCE to sensitize people on waste segregation. But this story definitely of interest. You would hardly hear the judges themselves explain their decision. And so a justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Gertrude Tokonu, has said the decision of the Electoral Commission to correct anomalies in the declaration of the 2020 election result was in accordance with the law. She said this formed one of the bases for the judgment the panel of justices gave on the just ended election petition. And apparently, according to the story, the NDC, a member of the NDC, had made some claims, and Madame Tokonu was speaking at a forum, and it didn't quite say, but they gave the CDDs, as in Cordeo's post-election review workshop, and I don't know if that's where she was speaking, but they've got a quote from her. This is direct quote attributed to the judge. There was a spreadsheet alleging vote padding of 4,693 votes in 26 constituencies, and we said we would have expected that the pink sheet for those polling stations would have been exhibited to prove the allegation instead of a spreadsheet. Still quoting, the conclusion was that even if one took out these 4,693 votes, it would not impact on the 6 million plus votes that the candidate was dealing with. Unquote. All right, so that's part of what the Supreme Court judge is alleged to have said. The rest of the story in the Daily Dispatch newspaper.
So I'll take a headline each from my last 2 papers, and it's a wrap. The Meridian, Ghana not making list of 100 best companies in Africa due to bad managers. That is according to MacDan CEO, Daniel Macaulay. And then in the BNFT, tax junk food, sweetened beverages to engender healthy living. That's according to Professor Latte. What's your take on that? Tax them so people are forced to
It's a good call, but you see, here in Ghana, in some parts of our country, people don't eat junk because they have and they want to spoil themselves. They don't. That's not how it works. So there has to be better research. Why do people eat junk? It's not just as it looks sometimes.
In our part of the world,
so if you say tax,
it's a bit of flex to eat junk food.
Not always.
For some people,
not always.
It's a bit of flex.
Sometimes
to eat.
it's
I don't want
cheaper.
to cite, but
when they do the buy one
with and they feel that is good living, but actually, you know that eating healthy is more expensive.
When they do buy one gets one free, do you know the number of family members who sit down to share?
So that's the immediate past director of nutrition at the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN, Professor Anna Lati, who has urged the government to impose tax on junk food and sugar-sweetened beverages so as to engender healthy living among citizens. She said the nation's nutrition index had been on the decline and urgent steps were needed to arrest that decline.
It's a good call, but let's not do wholesale policy
so when you say
making.
Let's not do wholesale, what exactly?
Yeah, it's just the same thing that I said. It's not, see, on occasions, and when you go to the malls, do you see sometimes the kind of people who come out, and that's like once in a long while that they're coming out to buy some of these stuff that we say junk. And so when you say tax the junk food, do you know what you'll be doing to them? The effect that will have. Do you know the number of people who have?
Does it matter how many times?
It's like a privilege. It's
matters,
like a privilege.
Right. So it matters the number of times because then as many times as you have it, and we have even childhood obesity is becoming a problem in our country, like it is in some parts of the West and the East. But she is basically saying that tax junk food and sweetened beverages so that the less people buy them, the more we can save them from certain consequences of bad living. So I don't think we can really pick and choose too much. I mean, she's made it very clear. Tax them.
See, that's why I said that it's a good call, but that's a wholesale recommendation to an issue, and I don't think it should be like that.
Which ones do you think should be left out?
I'm not sure we have the time to do that. Yeah, we have to go, unfortunately. You can go to myjournline.com. We've got plenty of stories there to share. And there you have it. Office of Special Prosecutor is redundant. I listened to John Indebugri yesterday on Newsnight on Joy FM, and you can listen to his position. A lot of people would tend to agree with him, by the way. After all, it's a bit of the powers of the Attorney General that's been given to this, the officer or the office.
I mean, at the very start, that's what people were saying.
There are plenty of stories there that, you can read on myjournline.com. All right.
Well, this is where we wrap up the conversation, but there's a lot more coming your way in sports. And don't you forget about that feature later on the show with Ray Gatu, Ghana's latest NBA star with the Indiana Pacers. Stay tuned for that one. But right now, sports.